Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're streaming.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Happy New Year, number one. I'm Antoine Thompson, CEO and Executive Director of the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition. We are the leading clean energy, clean transportation organization that covers Metro DC, Metro Baltimore, and we are just so excited to be with you this morning. First, I just want to thank you for being here, whether you are on Zoom, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, or any of those other wonderful platforms as well. But really excited to be with you. 2026 is going to be a really super busy year for GRRCCC. So I want to thank you for joining us at our first meeting of 2026. I wanted to start with some housekeeping items. First, we will have some great speakers today that will share with you information on EV charging, some of the trends, some of the innovations that are happening, and I'll introduce our moderator in a moment as well. I also wanted, as always, to just take a few moments to make some announcements. There are some funding opportunities that are on the street as well. If you do not currently receive our monthly newsletter, we did put a few of those in there as well. And so I want to just share a couple quick announcements. So, number one, the GRRCCC annual winter and opening reception will take place next Thursday, January 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be at 899 North Capitol Street Northeast. So make sure you register for that event. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It is free. We are still looking for people to donate door prizes. We are still have some opportunities if you want to help sponsor some of the refreshments as well. You can reach out to me today at 202-671-1580, and we'll put my email in the chat, or also Jade or Kim as well. So we are looking for people to donate some door prizes, and also a couple sponsors for the drinks, anywhere from like 500 to 2 grand, to help cover some of those costs. So we're still looking for a few more sponsors. So let me know. Put in the chat, or you can email me or text me as well. Or you can call the office. The next thing is we have a new podcast, so I'm going to try to get some of you on there. We're on WOL AM 1450 AM every other Tuesday. I was just on. We had our first radio show and podcast. So we will be taking the radio and uploading it to our podcast platforms, etc. So I would love to get some of you on there. I see Tucker Perkins just joined, one of our fantastic board members who leads PERC as well in the propane industry. I think I just saw him joining, and we'll give him a chance to say hi in a few moments before we get going. But also, so we'll have an opportunity for you all to come on. We're looking for speakers and stuff like that all the time to come on the podcast, and also the live radio. It's live on air, so I look forward to that. Also coming up on the next thing I wanted to mention, which is really, really important, we have the Energy Independence Summit, which is coming up February 9th through the 12th in Washington, D.C. That is when we have our partner organizations from all over the country, the different clean city organizations, different industry organizations, corporations, institutions that care about alternative fuels, uh, and some of the solutions that we support and advocate for, some of those policies. We will be going up on Capitol Hill. There's going to be a 3-day conference, and one of the days we will actually go up on the Hill. And so it's really important that you sign up for that conference. We go meet with members of Congress and or their staff. A lot of times it's their staff. And so that is February 9th through the 12th. We'll make sure we put that in the chat. We want to make sure we show up in big numbers. If you can't do anything else, what I always say is we want to take at least 10 or 15 people on Capitol Hill. That costs you no money to go on Capitol Hill. So that's the conference is really good. Transportation Energy Partners Energy Independence Summit. Again, February 9 through 12. The 9th through the 12th in Washington, D.C. I think it's going to be at the Martin Luther King or MLK Library, and you can register for that. So I sit on the board of that group. It's where we go and talk to legislators on the Hill, on Capitol Hill. Really, really important, especially in this time in the country. The last announcement I will make today is we are next week or so, we will be announcing not next week, but the following week, we will be formally announcing Earth Day, our second annual Earth Day Walk, Green Expo, Alternative Fuel Display will be on April 18th on the National Mall. So we'll go, I think, from like 10 to 1 or something like that. But we'll be walking. You'll have an opportunity to bring vehicles. We'll have exhibitor opportunities as well. You can have a booth as well. We're really excited. Our television sponsor will be WUSA 9 again, so we're really excited about that. And we're working on some radio and print sponsors as well. So we're really excited. That is going to be April 18th. So you'll be able to register, be able to sponsor, be able to bring a team there, and we're really excited about that. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is introduce our moderator for today. But before we do that, I want to just plug I see a couple of our board members on before I go to our immediate past chairman. I wanted to see if Tucker, he's not on that often, if we can unmute him and see if he wanted to say hi really quick. Tucker? Tucker, did you want to say something?
You're unmuted.
Tucker? All right, he may be having technical difficulties, so just remute him, and when he's available, we'll call him back. So without further ado, I want to introduce our moderator for today, and he is Jim Dankowski. He immediate past chair of the board of directors for our organization. His current role as Eaton's federal government marketing manager. He oversees strategic planning, value proposition development, and customer engagement for the government sector. With over 45 years experience in the electrical power distribution and control industry. His knowledge has delivered unique and creative solutions that support Eaton's clients with their energy initiatives and facility systems and optimization efforts. He also serves on our advisory board for our Baltimore office as well. And so without further ado, we'll bring up Jim Dankowski, and he'll run the discussion, and I'll come back on at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoine, and excited to be with you in the group today. We've got some really exciting topics from the standpoint of talking about energy and the effects of what we're looking at in regards to trends in the transportation industry. And we've got two great presenters today in Harper and Zacher, as well as Gino Merkin. And I'm going to introduce them briefly, and then I'm going to kind of turn it over to them to talk a little bit about their company, what they're doing, the trends that they're seeing, and how they're addressing transportation, not only this year, but moving forward as well. I always like to think of things from the standpoint of where are we today, where do we want to be tomorrow, and how are we planning for the future. So I think Harper and Gio are great additions to this discussion, and I'm looking forward to it. So with Harper is the president of Gateway International 360, and that was founded in 1998. And it's a certified service disabled veteran-owned business and a provider of industry-leading exterior dimming controls, including long-life photo controls, and intelligent street pole solutions. More recently, Gateway leveraged their considerable experience in high voltage power electronics design, manufacturing, and supply chain logistics to field a complete level of 1 through 4 EV charging solutions for residential, light commercial, and vehicle fleet charging. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Harper to talk a little bit about his company and some of the trends that they're looking at, and then we'll follow up with Gino. So Harper.
If we're able, can we move to Geo? I don't see Harper. Sorry.
So Gio is the executive leader of Pioneer Power Solutions, and he started his career with General Electric and served in leadership roles of growth and innovation in management and sales and marketing, as well as in engineering and technology across multiple industry vehicles, including energy and smart grid. So Gio, why don't we kick it off with you?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Jim. Good morning. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope audio is good. I just want to do a check.
You're
Great.
good.
All right. Diane, if you could share the slides, that would be great. So thank you again. Wonderful to be part of the kickoff with GWRCC. And we've been a sponsoring member for quite a few years, and we encourage everyone to be part of the movement. I'd like to share a little bit about Pioneer, but more about what we're seeing for 2026, and it might be a good gauge for everyone to think about what we're doing. So this is just a shot of the LA Unified School District installation. It's the largest off-grid installation in North America and quite possibly the world that we did in 2025, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the upcoming slides. Diane, if you could go to the next slide. So the number one problem that we set out to do launching this division in 2021 was to solve the problem in delay in infrastructure. And that continues still. And I will talk a little bit about how it's had slightly improved and then it again has impacted the utility partners that we have. Next slide, please. So just quick background on our parent company is Pioneer Power Solutions. We are a publicly traded company on NASDAQ, ticker symbol PPSI. We have been in the energy distribution market as an OEM for about 30 years now. Do everything across the board in terms of paralleling switchgear, transformers, and also service across the country. The two newer divisions and product line has been focused on mobile microgrid and eBoost, which is the brand under which we do mobile EV charging. Next slide, please. And you might have to click one more time there. Thank you. So this gives you a quick overview of what we are today and what we've expanded to in the less than 5 years. And we primarily do all of our power generation on propane, renewable propane, natural gas, renewable natural gas. But this year, and what's exciting is we will be also launching our renewable diesel unit for a project in the Northwest, and then subsequently for one of the largest logistics company in the world, we're going to be doing as well. So pretty exciting that we can span across the multiple fuels. Next slide, please. So we've charged well over 60,000 vehicles, almost every brand under the flag of what exists today in the US. Over 10 gigawatt hours of energy off-grid power that we delivered and counting as we go along every day. Next slide. And One more slide, Diane. I just wanted to give kind of the X-ray view of what it is. The basic DNA is same in all of our units. They vary slightly in terms of size, power delivery, and in terms of the charger because we're charger agnostic. Couple more clicks, Diane, if you could. And so the basic makeup is the same. We have a generator inside with chargers that are integrated onto the system or off of the system. They can be level 2, level 3. They can be varying sizes of power. There are varying numbers of propane tank either on board or off board. And we do 24/7 online monitoring of all our systems. We have solar panels to power the batteries that are on board for parasitic control and control power, and then lighting and security depending on what is needed there. Next slide, please. This is the real-time monitoring. 24/7 has become kind of a industry standard for monitoring these devices and maintaining and servicing them. Next slide. And keep going. Then one more. Sorry. So this on the EV school bus side, and this is part of the industry update that I wanted to provide everyone, and also for discussion in 2026. So the incentives, the EPA incentives ended towards the end of September of 2025. There were quite a few school bus orders that were placed at that time. Most of those, a majority of those will be delivered in 2026 over the next 3, 4 quarters, primarily in the first 3 quarters. And there's going to be different school districts, and we're already talking to some of them that are going to run into those challenges. And this is a shot of LAUSD. It's, I believe, the second largest school district in the US, and the largest deployment, 200 school buses that it deployed. We have 25 units there that charge them overnight. And next slide, please. Gives you a little bit of the statistics. One more click, Diane. So it we're doing about 5 gigawatts of watt hours of power annually at this site. So it's fairly significant what they're doing. And these units are going to be utilized in different ways for the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles as well. Next slide, please. And you can click through these, Diana. I'm just trying to one more click. So this is LA Department of Transportation. We're doing something similar in different states as well. But this is about 2.5 gigawatt hours of power that we're doing across the sites. One more, please. So that brings us to what is latest and greatest, Primus. Primus is the natural evolution of eBoost. What we're doing here is doing power, not just EV charging, but power at scale. So we're combining battery energy storages. Those are the units on the right. We call them ZEB, zero emission eBoost. And on the left are natural gas, propane, renewable natural gas units. We also have switchgear on wheels. Basically, we are doing an entire system. The unit in the back it can be either CNG units or it can be propane units. We've integrated the system to work on both dual fuel. And the unit in the front, which you will start hearing about in the industry quite a bit already, especially in Northern Virginia, is a MDC or a modular data center. So that container essentially has about 1 to 2 server racks. And you say 1 to 2 server racks, what's a data center that's a hyperscale going to do with that? Well, the reality is, on the data center side, we always hear about NVIDIA, but there are another 6 companies who are introducing either chipsets or edge AI chipsets, all of them need to test their chips on a rack server set. They're all liquid cooled. They're at a higher 800 volt DC power. And these all need facilities like government facilities, pharmaceuticals, financial institution, all have compliance issues with using an AI like ChatGPT, Gemini, because it is up on the cloud. So they need to be able to, for compliance reason, use it on premises or near premises. And this is what edge AI is. And you'll start hearing these companies come out with it. Powering these is still the problem. The utility still cannot get the power to them. And that brings us to the conundrum with the utilities on EV charging going forward, which is they're also facing the same issue when it comes because now EV charging has taken the third tier or third seat in terms of power demand because AI takes the biggest demand now, and then industrial reshoring or reindustrialization into the US is the second highest demand. So, but we use this Primus not for just data center or edge AI. We also use it for EV charging. And so a lot of the new deployments over the years, the fleets have gotten smarter. They have been able to put chargers on the ground. They've been able to even get switchgear into place, but they still need the power, which is taking 24 months to 36 months from the utility to get that. We deploy this all on wheels, limited permitting, can be there for a year, two, three, and then can be moved or can be used for microgrid application. We can make the installations permanent. So that's the impetus of Primus. Diane, one more, and I will go ahead and wrap it up. Just keep going with the next few slides, Diane. You can click through. You don't have to stop. Yeah, it just gives you different configurations that we're currently doing for different customers. Keep going. And keep clipping through. These are installations that are happening in the first quarter. So with that, I will wrap it up and turn it back to you, Jim.
Yeah, Gio, thank you so much for that. Really some great insights. I have a couple quick questions for you. From the standpoint of bringing power to the site to be able to charge vehicles and now moving into integrating that DER as a microgrid into facilities and so forth. You know, one of the things that we're always concerned about at the Clean Cities Coalition is the quality of the air, right? And you're using natural gas and propane. Two questions for you. One, is there a preferred, is there a preference to the propane over natural gas? And two, is there any permitting requirements that you have to address in regards to using on-site generation for installing your units to power up either the school buses or a microgrid?
Sure, absolutely. Great question. So we most of our installations across the US today run on either propane or renewable propane. We still and we're starting to see an increasing amount that are on natural gas or renewable natural gas. And we have partnerships where we bring those onto site. Suburban is a large national partner along with all the other nationals we work with. As far as the permitting, absolutely, every AHJ across the country we've dealt with, our units are all EPA and CARB certified as prime movers, and therefore, both for noise and from an emissions standpoint, we have to meet that, and they're certified. Whether there is CARB permitting in the state that we're working or not, they're still going to be CARB certified. And then, in as far as the AHJ, we work with the customer essentially to figure out how the permitting is. That's why you will see in our installation Jersey barriers and certain distancing. But everything we do is above ground. So in most cases, the jurisdiction for a fire department and others are different because we're really a mobile application. So the permitting time is very small in comparison to a permanent install. What would be taking 6 to 8 months in permitting, we typically do in 30 days to 45 days, or sometimes just weeks. And some places there are no permitting because they've basically approved our systems before, so it's fairly carte blanche in terms of our install.
Interesting. Also, do you have any situations where the client actually has the resource on site, like natural gas in some areas of the country is pretty prominent, and you can tap into a line? Do you have any of those opportunities, or do you like to work with making sure that you have the proper supply to keep your systems up and running?
Right. So again, great question, and this becomes even more relevant on the data center side. So um, we always ask the question what fuel resources they have on site. Increasingly we're starting to hear, especially in New York, where we're working on renewable diesel units. They have a supply that's coming in. So we always check on that. If they don't have on-site supply of natural gas, we will always go to our distribution partners and have them bring that in, and we integrate that with the fuel distribution partner to make sure they're automatically pinged for refueling so that they don't have downtime from that. And number two, in as far as natural gas availability, and when it comes to critical loads like data centers, one of the key things that people don't understand is natural gas is just like utility power. Just because you have it piped in doesn't mean you have 24/7 guarantee of natural gas available. And that's a huge distinction that comes when you come to work with data centers like we have for years, because that is an additional cost or a much higher cost. We mitigate that by using our mobile fuel partners.
I got a question that came in from the audience and from Steve. Thank you, Steve. Can you discuss cost per kilowatt for the mobile generation facilities?
Absolutely. So in our typical application, and they vary obviously if you're using which fuel source you're using, but propane as a standard, I like to talk about, it varies a little bit, but we are essentially in the 25 to 28 cents per kilowatt hour, utilizing propane, and a little higher with renewable propane. Um, and that is a very competitive and price when you look at the delay that you would experience. And keep in mind that renewable propane, renewable natural gas does not have demand charges. So that's where it really gives you an advantage, because some of our units, they're designed to be 24/7, 365. They run almost 18 to 20 hours a day.
Um, which brought me to another point. That was a great question. Thanks, Steve, for that. I noticed that you were heavily focused on fleets, and I'm not discounting that you might be into more automotive setting, but where do you see technology from the standpoint of what you're doing today with vehicle to grid, right? You're talking a little bit about microgrids now, data centers, the discussion of vehicle to grid and being able to balance power between what's stored in a transportation vehicle versus what the utilization is. Just kind of give me an update as to where you might be thinking about vehicle to grid.
Right. So we work with, we're charger agnostic. So we work with several select partners across the country. And all of them, in one form or another, have been working on vehicle to grid technology. We're complementary to that. Obviously, depending on Part of our responsibility is typically when you do vehicle to grid, you have some sort of microgrid application that integrates a renewable source like solar. And the idea there is that that stored energy, solar energy, is what you are giving back to the grid. So you are getting clean energy and you're getting it at a very economical price, obviously. In our case, we have been essentially be the starting point for a lot of this. Even the vehicle to grid setup, because of permitting time, because of construction time, it takes time for them to get there. So we have a site that we've been doing it for about 8 to 10 months now that will eventually become a vehicle to grid type of application. But right now we are supporting the vehicles and the fleet in terms of that. Our responsibility in that equation is to make sure that they're aware what is being stored in the battery energy storage, whether it is a low carbon fuel source like propane or renewable propane or natural gas, renewable natural gas, or if it's a completely renewable source like solar.
Thank you. Another question, this came from John. Thank you, John. How do you keep up with the demand for your solutions when the input fuel supply side 4/2 EV appears to be lower given the competing sectors such as AI?
Could you repeat the last part? I was trying to
Sure.
figure. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Okay, how do you keep up with the demand for your solutions when the input fuel supply side 4 and 2 EV appears to be lower, given the competing sectors such as AI? If you recall, Gio, I think I know where John's going.
Yeah.
He said the top demand for power today is AI and number 3 is EV, right?
Right.
So I think he's asking how do you, I'm going to use my term now, and John, I hope I'm not bad mouthing your question, but how do you keep EV at the forefront of the utilities to make sure that you got the infrastructure and the supply? How do you keep up with that?
Right. So what's interesting in our journey is when we started back in 2020 talking to our utility partners, because we've been in business for 30 years doing projects with all the utilities. They said openly to us, hey, look, this is a great technology. We can't openly support it, but we think there's a need and you will be helping us along the way. Fast forward in 2025, ACT show, Antoine and many others attended. We were on a panel with utilities and public utility commissioners, basically saying, hey, we are having delays. There are partners like eBoost that can help with it. So in that sense, what we have done is we've partnered with utilities to stay at the forefront, to not just highlight the need, but also to help them transition the need or prioritize the need. And we continue to do that. By launching Primus, what we're saying is anywhere from 1 to 10 megawatt hours of power generated on site is possible. And this helps the utilities, whether it is for EV charging, if it's for edge AI. All the demands are the same. The queue is what they have to manage, and we're just basically helping them manage that queue a little better.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Kimberly did or Diane, did Harper join? I did not see whether he did or didn't.
I don't see him either.
Okay, good enough. Then we're going to continue with Gio, if you don't mind, for a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over to Antoine. Is that okay with you, Antoine? Just need a thumbs up. Oh, wait, there's Gio.
I didn't realize my camera wasn't on, but hopefully my voice was good enough till now.
There we go. Are you good, Antoine, for another 5 to 10? I got a couple more questions with Gio. This is too much
Sure.
fun for me.
Enjoy yourself.
Gio, so you got to forgive me. This is good stuff. one of the things I was thinking about while you were talking was, do you see an area of the United States? You talked a little bit about Los Angeles, very dense population. Is that where you see most of the need for on-site charging for fleets? Is more where there's dense population, or really doesn't matter?
Oh, no, it hasn't mattered. We are up in New York, working with Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. Currently working in Maryland on a project with transit and also for school buses. We've worked in Florida, Texas, up Pacific Northwest has been very active. We've been up in Canada. We're continuing to look at solutions up in Canada. So it's all across the country. But keep in mind that from an EV charging perspective, there's still a handful of states. So what we have seen in talking to the larger fleets, and this is um, uh, uh, something I wanted to share with the entire group is we work with large, small fleets across US. And on the consumer side, obviously EV charging has taken um, a significant setback because of the incentives going away and different manufacturers stepping away, going to hybrid and things like that. And the news has been dominated by that. But if you look at the fleet side, these are trucks, buses, um, step vans, utility trucks. All of that segment has held fairly steady, those manufacturers, and we talk to them on a monthly basis on different opportunities. So if you talk to Bluebird, you talk to Thomas Built Buses, you talk to Daimler, you talk to International, all of them have basically iterated, and the fleets especially, that 2025 was a correction and reset year. 2026 is kind of the cautious continue the deployment. It's kind of steady work going in 26, 27, 28. Eventually, we expect to see an administration change. And when that happens, the outlook essentially is that it will be more on the sustainability side again. And most fleets and most large organizations will tell you that the investment they're making in sustainable vehicles and power and energy are a 10-year planning cycle, not a 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 year cycle. So to us, that's encouraging, and it should be encouraging for the entire group that the mindset on the business side is a steady march towards something that expands the installation and how we're headed in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that from the standpoint of not fleet as much, but from what we're seeing here is the demand for personal EV is going to continue. That demand is not going away. The incentives, of course, based on federal incentives and so forth, were welcome. But the fact is that we see a steady growth in EV for the next 10 years. So that's good news as far as personal cars are concerned.
Yeah.
Fleets are a little bit different, as you were pointing out, Gio, because they got to look at things, and you know this as well. There's a difference when it's a public entity versus a private entity. A public entity is always looking for funding to support that program. Their cost, they're looking at cost. Private entities are looking for return on investment. And anytime
Correct.
there's a tax incentive to roll into that improves their ROI based on that investment. So they have a little bit of a different outlook on it. And I'm glad you kind of laid that out. I think it's important for the audience to know that there's some areas that they're not going to stop. Like you said, they're not on a 2-year, they're on a 10-year.
Yeah.
That's how they look at things from a strategic standpoint. Any other questions? Well, Gio, I can't thank you enough. This has really been fun to talk to you and enjoyed the conversation. I hope everyone else did. We had some good questions that came in from the audience, and I want to thank them as well. So with that, Antoine, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I want to take just a couple of minutes. First, put our hands together for our panelists and our moderator. I want to take a few moments before I go to some announcements. I want to give a couple of our folks, and Kim, if you can kind of coordinate with me on unmuting just a couple folks. So I'll go around and see who are a couple people I'd like to call on. So first, I think I saw Al Caron, or did he disappear? Let me see. From DC government. He's gone. Okay, let's go to Julie Gurney. Julie, want to give us a quick update? Just see how you're doing. How's the new year? Any new things happening with your government?
Hi, this is Julie Gurney from Fairfax County. Yeah, we published our EV readiness strategy at the end of last year, and we do have a website up with that on it if anybody's interested in looking in that. So we're just taking the time to plan next steps for the county. So I'll put that link in the chat.
All right, and looking forward to seeing you next week, and Happy New Year as well.
Thank you.
All right. I want to go to one of our other partners and members, Salima Stevens. If we can unmute Salima.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm sorry, Antoine, I'm outside. I'm not in the office, but I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for all the support you are doing to all members. As a members, one of the member, I want to let you know that we are progressing on a pilot regarding electrification of TRUs in the region of New York. And we are looking forward to develop this kind of pilot in the region, within the Great Washington region, specifically for Maryland. And we'll let you know if there is any more opportunities that we can share with our members. But for the time being, I'm also happy to announce that we will be organizing the 7th workshop with your support on clean mobility future in the US on April 30, and we'll let you know about all the details soon. Thank you so much for the opportunity to exchange with our members.
Awesome, awesome. So I want to just take really quickly a quick minute to run over a few things. One is that please check out the newsletter. We did put a number of funding announcements. I'll make sure at our February meeting that we have those in front of me so we can kind of run through those on the call. But check out the newsletter that came out a couple of days ago. We do have some funding announcements. There was a opportunity. I know DC currently has a funding opportunity on the street for a couple $1 million on fleet low to zero emission grants for fleets. So look at that. That's on the street right now. And then there is a funding opportunity in the state of Commonwealth of Virginia for EV charging stations. So I know they have a funding opportunity as well. And the state of Maryland has a number of funding opportunities that are available right now as well for all different fuel types. So Maryland Energy Administration, we'll try to get them on next month as well, and a couple other folks. What I will try to do is make sure, in addition to the speakers each month, that we have at least one person that comes on to talk about a funding or business opportunity that you can apply for. So it's good to have all these other folks, but I know many of you want to know about business and funding opportunities. So we will make sure that each month we try to get at least one person that can come on for a couple minutes and share that information. Last couple things I want to say, remember to register for the opening reception, which is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. January 15th, 899 North Capitol Street. We do need some more door prizes, etc., and a couple more sponsors. I do want to remind everyone to pay your dues. Many of you have not paid your dues yet. I see a lot of folks on the call today that are not members or have not paid their dues, so please do that. between now and tomorrow. Definitely by no later than next week. But make sure you're paying your dues before we have to start calling and texting you and all that good stuff. So pay your dues. And if you're not a member, join today. We were going to have a lot of member-centric events for 2026. So some events will be free if you're a member, and many events will not be free if you're not a member, except for some of the virtual ones. The last thing I will just mention is the Earth Day Walk, which is coming up April 18th. Make sure you come for that and register for that. You can actually start registering now. We'll be after the next Friday after the opening reception, winter reception event. You'll start getting bombarded for that event. And we got to go on Capitol Hill, February 9th through the 12th. You know, everything that's going on across the country. We have to fight for alternative fuels. We're all in this together. Our office takes an all of the above approach. As you can see, we have speakers who they all use the word renewable, sustainability. Some may use climate. At the end of the day, we want to reduce pollution and its negative impacts on people, communities, in the world as a whole. So I want to thank you for that. Remember, you can go to gwrccc.org to become a member. If your company doesn't do that, organization can't do that, you can always make a tax-deductible donation or interpersonal donation on our website at gwrccc.org. I want to thank our team for being here today. We're going to see you all next week. We have hundreds of people that have registered for the event. So we want to, I'm going to give you all back, which is usually unusual. I'm going to give you back 10 minutes of your time today. And I think we got a couple things that have been announced, okay, in the chat. So, okay, so because we always run pretty close to the time, I'm going to give you back 12 minutes for this one time and one time only. You all have a wonderful day. I want to thank our team and thank our moderator and speakers. You all have a wonderful day. I will see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. on the 15th. It should be amazing. We got some dynamic speakers. It's going to be a wonderful event, and we got to keep moving forward. Oh, lastly, I forgot to mention, we are celebrating 15 years. I forgot, when you come for our February meeting, we'll have the page up for our conference. Will be in October. We had an amazing conference last year. This year we'll be celebrating 15 years. So we want everyone to make sure. We'll also put out a call for panel ideas as well. So we'll work on that with Kim and the team. So by February, we'll give you like 60 days to submit panel ideas for the conference as well. So we'll have the page up with the draft, outline. And then by June 1st, we'll have all the speakers and most of the speakers and panels wrapped up. So save that. We'll announce all those dates at the February meeting. You all take care. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.